Steve. She's her own bubble butt boyfriend, Billy. You're evil. Crazy slack. She watched her mom get butchered. Where do you get this shit? You are pathetic!
Get ready to join Nancy Ann Ritter, aka Nar, as she and Jar Jar Jeremy try to face their fears of all things horror. Along with their guru of gore, Kevin Crooksy, they will watch and give their critiques of some of the best the horror genre has to offer. Will they succeed? Find out on the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter. And welcome to another episode of the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter. And here we are once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're with Franklin, aka Crooksy. Give me that knife, Franklin.
I was convinced he was going to be the chainsaw.
And as you all hear, of course, we have Nancy Ann Ritter. Nar.
Hi guys, I'm Scar. Can you all hear me? I'm going to turn you up.
Absolutely.
You sound perfect.
Okay, let me see.
You're
I'm going to turn you up for 1 second.
I had to mess with my audio beforehand. I guess I was all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, you got Jar Jar and Kevin, aka Franklin. You have legit. I have so many questions and feelings about the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I had no idea when I was pulling it up how many successors to the 1974 one, and I had to make sure as I scrolled. I was like, I can't, because I didn't realize Dennis Hopper did one.
Yep. That was
afterwards. That was two. So I had to make sure. I was like, I have to make
Matthew
sure.
McConaughey was in that one as
he was
well,
in.
right?
No, he was in Next Generation.
Oh, Next Generation.
And was that with Renee Zellweger? That
Renee
one.
Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. That's like they both like deny it, but you know, early career, you know, it happens. And I do have to say, considering that it's my favorite, the original 74 is my favorite horror movie. I really dislike most of the sequels.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The second one's fun. It's a completely different feel. So the one thing that I love about this one so much is that it feels almost like a documentary. It's so gritty. 2 is like more of a grandioso, like this is when Nightmare on Elm Street started becoming big and like all this other stuff. So it was like, you know, they had to do the whole over the top. But that being said, there's awesome characters. Bill Moseley, who he's been in like everything. He plays Chop Top in the second one, and that's my first introduction to him. And he's phenomenal as a person and as an actor. So I credit that for that as well. Plus Dennis Hopper's awesome. But you had never seen this.
No, I had. Wait, about the 1974 one? Yes. Oh no, and there's just so much to say. I couldn't.
I watched it twice just to make sure I took everything in.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, there's me, Jar Jar. I watched
there's a lot of killing.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I can talk about it after, but I'm going to bring it up now, I guess. There's a lot of killing, but a lot of it is implied. You don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. Like even when the first guy goes in, he's hung up onto the...
There's a girl that gets hung up.
Oh, yeah, it's a girl that gets hung up.
And then
the guy walks in, the door closes.
Yep.
That steel
He gets
door.
hit in the head with the mallet, though, right? Yeah.
But it's a lot of implied horror. I mean, implied death. There's very little blood in it. And like one of the little pieces of trivia was that they purposely kept out the gore, kept out the swearing and the nudity. They were trying to get a PG rating.
Did they get it?
No matter how hard they tried, they got an X rating. Yeah. And the thing is, it was done so well, it's super disturbing and you don't see anything. And then it was banned in multiple countries for 20 something years. A lot of these places, and it was all because of the implied horror, like the implied deaths. But you don't see anything. Like the most gore you really see is at the very beginning. There's that like corpse that's sitting like propped up on top of a headstone. That's the most gore you see in the movie.
Wow. What about?
And yet it evokes such.
Yeah.
I mean, visceral. And I have so many questions to the horror fan community. I did love it, but the purple girl, the purple party hat titty girl at the end, that actor was so good.
Marianne, her name is.
What's her name in the movie?
I met her. She passed away. She plays Sally.
That's Sally. Okay.
Yeah. I'm forgetting her name. I met her in person years ago, and it was like at the year before she passed. And she was a sweetheart. She was great.
Just how I mean, I was rooting. I was like, run, bitch, run. Yeah. And then when she got tangled in the tree branches, but I was rooting so hard for her. I wanted her to live so badly. I thought for sure she was a goner when she had to put the finger in Grandpa's mouth, which I have so many questions about that.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure his
Grandpa's a freak.
Grandpa was also one of the youngest cast members in that family.
Really?
It said John Dugan.
Yep.
Played him because he's still. I see his name. I haven't met him, but he does. I see his face and his name at conventions.
I'm not going to tell too much, but it's unfortunate. The very first time that I met him, and I was all excited because I had never met him, and Texas Chainsaw is my favorite. He was a complete ass to me, and he made fun of me right to my face in front of a bunch of people, and I was like, "This sucks. I'm out." You know.
What did he do that made fun of you?
He made fun of how I looked. He made fun of there's a lot. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, cool. And just turned around and walked away. It sucks.
Wow.
I've met like the majority of the living cast. And they've all been amazing except for him. He was the youngest one. He was like 20 years younger than the hitchhiker, than the brother, the hitchhiker.
Really?
20 years younger in real life.
And I thought for sure, I had no idea it would be the family of cannibals. And were they all three brothers with Grandpa?
No, it was Grandpa, and then it was
one's an uncle, right? They were all brothers?
Yeah, I believe they were brothers. I could be completely wrong. I feel like I'm letting everyone down, but I don't know.
Oh, no.
Or would the gas station guy be the dad of the psycho one who cut his hand, or no?
Well, Leatherface and the psycho guy, the hitchhiker, are brothers in the movie.
Yeah,
that's who they call Leatherface, is the chainsaw guy.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody never knew that.
Oh, so really?
It's Leatherface, but it looks like he's wearing burlap. Why don't they call him burlap face?
It's actually a skin that's dried out.
Yeah. So he's got 3 masks within the movie.
That's
and
right.
They're from different victims. And a little fun fact is the character is loosely based off of the serial killer Ed Gein. Ed Gein.
Shoehorn out of your shin.
All right. But there's multiple horror, like iconic horror characters that are loosely based off of Ed Gein. So you have Anthony Perkins' character in Psycho is based off of it, like when he's talking to his mom and everything, because he legit had furniture made out of human remains. He skinned people.
Did?
Yeah.
Blind Melon, the song I was just singing, does a whole song about some of the killings he did. It's pretty explicit.
Yeah, and
I'd love to hear that because I haven't heard that name.
It's a funky little folk song, which is funny. It's a folk song,
funky, actually. Like, we're not going to just break into a Blind Melon hour, are we?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Speaking of, on that note, and then I'll go back to Texas. But you know the singer songwriter Sufjan Stevens. And if you don't know, I want you to. So it's spelled Sufjan Stevens, and he did the most. I don't go to a lot of concerts, but I went, not because I don't want to, but money is an issue. But I went to his concert in New York City years and years ago, and he has a song about the guy who dressed as the clown to kill the guy.
John Wayne Gacy.
Wayne Gacy. And the song title is John Wayne Gacy. And I want you all to, or maybe sometime we could play it, but the song is so haunting, so beautiful.
We'll get a whole soundtrack of songs about serial killers.
And play it. But it's such a good song. I kept playing it. My psycho ex-husband first introduced me to the song. And it's so haunting. And I first, when I heard it, played it all the time. And then I was like, oh, this is disturbing. But when he played it at the concert that he did, it was amazing. But so that people know, well, not that awards matter, but Sufjan Stevens was nominated for an Academy Award for his music for the movie Call Me By Your Name with Timothy Chalamet. So his singing songs, his songwriting, and his singing, I really love. But nice. Since you brought up that Blind Melon, that made me think.
And I was going to bring up, Nara, have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
Of course, Kevin.
So you know Buffalo Bill?
Yes.
He's also based off of Ed Gein.
I was just going to say, because of the skin,
yep.
Since he sews. Now, I have to tell you all, when I first saw it in the movie theater, whoever the Washington, D.C. movie critic was when Silence of the Lambs came out in Pulp Fiction, he was not, movie reviewer was not an accurate movie reviewer, because he was like, oh, Silence of the Lambs, blah, blah, blah. And so my mom, dad, and I and my sister went to it, and I could handle when Anthony Hopkins was on screen, but whenever Buffalo Bill was on screen, I was literally ducked down behind the chair. My poor parents and my sister, when he was on screen, I couldn't look. So it wasn't until a few years ago, I saw the penis tucking. Like I knew what he looked like because I watched initially, and then I was like, he was so terrifying.
My favorite scene.
Yeah.
But I never knew what the scenes were until a few years ago, and I could handle it now that I was older. But my parents were dying because the same critic that I know I'm detouring did a review of Pulp Fiction, and my dad was a captain in the Navy. He was like, I hear this Pulp Fiction is great, let's go. And he kept turning to me and he's like, is there any redeeming value to this movie? Yes. And then I knew, well, I was like, oh, when the ball gag with Ving Rhames, that scene, I was like, oh my god. But he managed to stay through to the end, but he's scarred for life.
I love that movie. I think I saw the movie 5 times in the theater.
Yeah, I just recently watched it a few weeks ago with my fiance. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I have to see it again now that I love my dad to death, but I now have to see it when he's not sitting next to me, because I haven't seen it since it came out.
I recommend all of Tarantino's movies, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen. Okay, I don't think I've seen Reservoir Dogs.
Oh,
very good.
Israeli. Okay, the audience
very
is
good.
I know the audience. Is Ray Liotta? I know Ray Liotta's in Goodfellas. Is he also in Reservoir Dogs or no? Okay.
I don't believe so. No.
Is it Michael Madsen and
Reservoir Dogs? He has a wonderful scene.
That's what made me fall in love with Steve Buscemi is Reservoir Dogs as well. Oh. And then I started going back, like Trees Lounge. Like I'll give anything Steve Buscemi does a shot.
Was Steve Buscemi and Barton Fink with John Turturro? I could be wrong.
Turturro and wasn't John Goodman in Barton Fink?
I'll have to look. I mean, I know John Turturro. He might be. Yes. I'd have to IMDb, but I feel like I can't remember. I remember when I first got introduced to Steve Buscemi, but I can't remember which movie, but not Reservoir Dogs. So I need to see Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And Django Unchained.
Yes. And Hateful Eight. And
Hateful Eight.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And,
I did see that. Yes.
But you know who was also in Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I'm going to bring it back around.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Hey.
I don't know if you guys realize, but the opening, they has the little dialogue at the beginning is a person.
Yeah.
John Larroquette.
John Larroquette. And he was paid with weed to do that recording.
Oh, shit.
No way.
Yeah. And
that's funny.
That I wrote down in my little notes because I didn't know that was him.
I wonder how much.
Credits. I want to say, I think it just said a joint.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Well, Here's the other
His
thing too.
voice was perfect.
Oh yeah, he's great. And of course, like every time the Night Court theme song comes in my head, and I'm just like, all right, here we go. So the distributors of the movie, like they were funding the movie and everything for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They were run by the mafia, and they were using Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a way to hide their profits from Deep Throat that they also produced a few years prior. And then each cast member, what I read anyways, each cast member and crew member was only paid $405 for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he was trying to hide the profits from Texas Chainsaw Massacre as something else, and it got found out. They ended up suing him, and they each won $25,000 in the settlement. But then the rights went over to was it New Line, I want to say, and they ended up paying it out. So eventually, years later, these guys actually made a little bit of money from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes me laugh is who arrived at the 405. Why not just 4?
Yeah,
yeah, for real. Yeah.
Here's $5 extra.
I'm gonna give you $400. Like, you what? He's like, all right. 405. It was 74. You could have got yourself,
I love Kevin. I love all the fun facts you get about this, because I had no idea. Well, I knew it would be amazing, but I had no idea. Just the opening credits, the color of the narration of the letters, that weird kind of yellowish color was scary. The print was scary. When the date, I'm reading my notes.
Yeah.
But when they put the date up and it's total, the date,
mm-hmm.
the date against the black screen, that was terrifying. Everything was terrifying to me. And then the sounds at the very beginning, and
sounds like that's like an old flash from like an old camera. That's all that is.
Oh, and that's what it is.
Yeah. It's an old like flash bulb, but it's also, there's almost no music in the movie.
No,
all sounds are like either animal sounds or they're like sounds from a slaughterhouse. That's it. Like there's very little. Like I think you hear something on a radio at some point, but that's about it.
Well, the radio news is amazing.
Yeah,
the news that they're just that whole beginning where you just hear the whole daily news on the radio. I thought that was amazing.
Grave robbing and all that stuff. Yeah. So are we gonna break down? Like, you want to break it down a little bit, Jar Jar, or you want to, like, as far as like how the movie goes along, or no?
And will I get to read my notes at some point?
Totally.
Okay, good. I'm very proud of myself. I wrote them on an envelope.
Yeah.
Great.
As long as you save time for my notes.
Yeah, we should probably, go through from the beginning of, as they start off the movie, going into the picking up the hitchhiker, driving past the slaughterhouse, him telling the story of his dad working there, busting out the pictures. Look.
Yeah. Just a weird dude.
And the head cheese.
Oh yeah. I just.
Oh yeah.
First time I met him, his name is was it Edward Neal. And the first time I met him, like, he had stuff because he does a lot of voice acting and stuff too. I met him at Wizard's World years ago, and I was like, oh, and I picked up a Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. He's like, you like head cheese? My brother makes it real good. Like, I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. This is ridiculous. And he was a very nice dude, and then he explained stuff like, oh, I got a picture of him like sitting at the table with a plate of meat in front of him, and he explained, like, there's one thing I wanted to bring up, but I can bring it up later. But a little story about the meat in the room. But he's a very nice guy. If you ever see him at a convention, whoever's listening and watching, I recommend it. He's a very, very, like, genuinely just nice dude. And I'm sure, hopefully, you'll run into him at a convention and tell him how terrified you were of the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
And was that a birthmark on his, or just
like on his
around
face?
Here?
I don't know. It kind of looked like one. It also kind of looked like a wound. But I mean, it was such a low budget movie. Like, I don't know.
Because my dad's brother,
is that like the port wine stain?
Had like kind of, if I remember, kind of here like a pink. What did you call it? Port wine.
Yeah, port wine stain.
Yeah.
I think it's called, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it had a name. So that's why I kept thinking, is that?
Kevin is just
that was that. He doesn't look like that for like in real life. He doesn't have that in real life.
Oh, he doesn't have
for the
that.
movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They pick up the hitchhiker, and that's when you know shit's about to go down.
Why were they so dumb to pick up the hitchhiker?
They're hippies.
Yeah, like everyone's cool, man.
Hippie kids out for a road trip to their grandparents' estate, was it?
Yeah, just like some property. Like
didn't you hear one of the five say, "Don't pick him up"? Well, like one.
I think that was Franklin, wasn't it?
It was Franklin.
Franklin's like
most annoying person in the movie was the smartest guy. And
oh my god!
I've seen this multiple times in the theater. Like when it had the 40th anniversary, I went to see it at like Big Theater in Boston. I've seen it a couple times in some smaller theaters, and almost every time I've gone to see it in the theater, whenever Franklin does the whole, everyone's laughing. Everyone's laughing.
Come on, Franklin. It's gonna be a fun trip. If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it.
Everyone's laughing. So
I mean, I thought, are they meaning to? I mean, I just thought for sure. I was like, he's the chainsaw murderer. I don't know. I don't know why. I just kept thinking Franklin's gonna turn on all of us.
Yeah,
especially with the.
Yeah,
I just was like, Franklin's gonna be so like just turn. That's what I thought for sure.
Yeah, maybe nowadays it probably would have been. Yeah,
I was impressed how well he could get around on that wheelchair. Like when he was going through the house, I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's actually able to move a little bit.
Yeah, and considering that he's not really handicapped. He passed away a while ago, but there's there's a little thing I read that Gunnar Hansen, who played Leatherface, didn't like him at all.
Really?
As a person. Really? He hated him. And then he found out years and years later when he met him at a convention or something that he's a method actor and he was in character the whole time.
Franklin.
So he was being frank, like off camera and everything. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I hate this dude. Like, I hate him. I thought
you were meant to.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. They pick up the hitchhiker. Things go south.
Yeah.
He pulls out like a Polaroid camera, and
I think I would have dropped him off right away.
I wouldn't have picked him up personally.
No,
that would have been a very quick movie.
and that's it.
Look at this guy. The end. Yeah.
I loved I had no idea Toby Hooper directed it, and tell me, I didn't have time to IMDb him, but hasn't he directed some recent films?
He's no longer with us. He did direct Texas Chainsaw 2. Okay. But he also, even though people don't want to give him credit for it, he directed Poltergeist.
He did.
I remember you telling me that.
It was produced by Steven Spielberg, and everyone's trying to say, like, oh, Steven really produced it, or really directed it. But from what I've read, that's not the case. And considering that Poltergeist is another one of my favorite, like, horror movies, I'm more than happy to be like, Toby Hooper directed that movie. Like, I'm all about it.
Why do people not want to? Okay, I'm so embarrassed that I thought he was still alive. Why do people not want to give him credit for Poltergeist?
It's so different than Texas Chainsaw and Texas Chainsaw 2. It's just completely different style-wise and everything. I don't know. I mean, I think that they think because of the style it was a Spielberg, like he directed it.
Did he get the credit, Toby Hooper?
Yeah.
For direct? Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. But people are like, whatever. Like, how do you win? I don't know.
Even his name looks scary in the credits, Toby Hooper. I don't know why. Just the name. The name looks scary to me. Oh, I did want to tell people, since I'm kind of bilingual with Spanish, when it said at the beginning, I'm going to trill the arm. They say Muerto County. Technically in Spanish, it's Muerto County, but muerto means dead. Oh. I'm sorry, I'm so proud of myself.
I should have known that.
I've never even thought of it.
Day of the Dead.
Dios de Muerte.
Dios de los Muertos.
Yeah, me and Kevin here are definitely not bilingual at all.
And I'm not. I'm saying that. I mean, I'm kind of bilingual.
You're more bilingual than I am, so
Oh yeah.
But not fluent by it. I'm intermediate.
Yeah.
But I did love, I wanted to say under that, the van shot of where the one in the distance, I think, where the hitchhikers, when they stop,
he's running up to the van. Yeah.
And the color of the van and just the make of the van, I just really liked.
There's that shot of the dead armadillo in the road as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
But so there's an artist that I am a huge fan of named Jason Edmonston, and he did like a couple of the cover art for the releases and for some of the toys and stuff like that. And he did one of that van with the armadillo, and it's so good. He did another one where it's a close up of Sally's eye, and you can see the reflection of Leatherface coming at her. It's so sick.
Oh wow!
And can you see that in the scene, in the actual scene in the film? Okay, but it was his.
Yeah, and that was using things, but
her eyes at the end. Well, I have so much.
Yeah.
I thought she was amazing, and the close up of her eyes at the end, in that big climactic scene, just her eyeballs. That you could see the little bit of red on the white is the pupil, right?
I almost felt bad for her.
The pupil is the
you almost felt
like for the actual actress. I was like, Jesus Christ, they are harassing the fuck out of this girl.
I don't think I'd see. I mean, I have so many horror films to see, but man, oh man, what the actor had, what she had to go through from beginning to end was when she goes looking for them from that beginning to end was just unreal.
I'm going to talk about later on about how much they had to go through during the filming of this movie, and just it's crazy. Like they should all have won awards for what they put up with to make $405. It's crazy. So it goes from them picking up the hitchhiker to them kicking him out because he attacked Franklin. Yeah. And he's just a whiny little bitch, that Franklin. But he's great. Even though he's the most annoying thing in the movie, there's a place for him,
Oh, definitely.
And then I think that there was like a little bit of comic relief at one point too when they stopped at the gas station, and like there was one guy who just came out with a bucket and he was like trying to clean, and then he kept walking away.
Walking back, walking away. And they're like, brilliant. Gas. Oh, we're all out of gas, but we're gonna get this.
Anytime what I interpreted as his boss would come back towards the car, then he would come back to wash it. And I noted, when he first was washing it, the close-up looked like a red rag on the windshield wiper, so it reminded me of blood.
Yeah.
And then I kept thinking, I was like, oh no, he's the chainsaw dude.
We didn't even see him the rest of the movie.
Nope.
Actually.
That's it. Oh. If you watch 2, the gas station comes back into play.
Okay.
2. Let's just say that they sell barbecue out of the gas station in the second one. It ain't barbecue.
I was hoping he would come to save the day when she runs into the gas station. I was like, "Where's my sponge guy? My windshield wiper dude?"
He's the savior of the whole movie.
Yes.
Just Leatherface. And there's like women, the pretty lady mask that he's wearing. And he just
now, did it remind you? Okay, I know we're supposed to go.
That's okay.
Point by point, but before I forget, with Leatherface, when all three of them are there, before even Grandpa comes down and he has on the funny lady wig and everything, it reminded me of Grandma in Psycho. Even though Grandma doesn't look like that, I was just like, holy cow. It reminded me of like Norman Bates.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, very similar.
But he had different personalities for each mask that he wore. So like when he was regular Leatherface, he was a butcher, and he was, whatever. When he was dressed up like the old lady, he was just like a mom.
Woman, yeah.
Yes.
Like all high pitched and everything. And then like the pretty lady mask, which is weird because he wore a suit and like cowboy boots, that was supposed to be representative of like back in the day in Texas, you would actually have to dress up when you had dinner. Like that was a thing. So it was kind of paying homage to that, where he dress up and looking in his best. That's why like everything happens and he chases her out in that outfit. But it's
Oh yeah. Okay. What were you saying? Pretty lady mask?
Yeah, there's one that they call the Pretty Lady mask. It's the it's that one. It's the one that he wears at the end where it's got like lipstick and like eye makeup on and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And they're just the faces of people that he's killed is what it is.
And he's wearing his Sunday best, you were his dinner best. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So he had different characters, and like I guess Toby like had said something like he didn't want any intelligible words to come out of his mouth. He's like, you have your own language, they'll understand you, but you have your own language. It's just got to be noises and weird sounds. So like you would hear like pig sounds and stuff like that when he was trying to talk, and there's a few times they stopped him. They're like, no, you're sounding too smart. You need to dumb it down even more. And it's
too smart.
Yeah. Well, I guess he was just like kind of maybe like gesturing towards something and maybe something that sounded like something, and they're like, no, that's too smart. Make it sound just like grunts and snorts and stuff like that.
Why do you think they didn't kill her just right away? I mean, I know he was trying to get her, but once they got her in the house and the three of them are there, and then Grandpa, why do you think they didn't just kill her right away?
I was wondering that myself.
Maybe it's a torture thing. Like, because so they were trying to get the Grandpa to do the killing. Like another one, have another one use a hammer.
Jar Jar.
I thought that was great. I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, another comic relief part.
Yeah. Just like he goes to hit her and he just falls in the bucket next to it.
This poor girl. Just like, blood all over the place. I'm like,
And they wanted her to take a bite. They wanted her to eat some of the meal on her plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that was already Kirk and
possibly
and the other girl?
Franklin? Oh, could be Franklin too.
Was
he got the chainsaw. Like he was the only one who actually got killed by the chainsaw. It was Franklin.
Yeah.
He was the only one who got killed by the chainsaw. But I don't know. It's there's a lot about this movie that I love. I really respect the fact that you've heard about it. I'm sure, like not to the point where they're telling you the plot or anything like that. And it's good to see that someone who's into acting and stuff like that. I mean, it's a back in the day, these were all lowbrow, like, oh, this is garbage throwaway stuff. Like horror movies were like, one step above pornography. Back in the day. So yeah, well, some of them were pornography at the same time. But and it's good to see that someone who didn't grow up watching these things can still find some like chills to this stuff, considering like how low budget and all this stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, just from the dread, I felt so much dread. The bright sun. My mom was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I have relatives, so I grew up going to Texas, relatives in Austin and Houston and Dallas, and then I went to a horse camp at Prude Ranch. I think in Fort Worth, but just that Texas scenery, the bright, oppressive sunshine, just all of it just was so familiar and yet so scary to me at the same time.
I'm assuming the house you went to wasn't as dilapidated as their grandparents' house. Like, good Lord. That went downhill real fast. The one girl's like, yeah, I used to sleep in here, nap in here. I'm just like,
how long ago?
Really?
Are you 90?
The zebras.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, what's going on? I'm like, that house looks like it hasn't been lived in 40, 50 years.
Yeah. Well,
I used to sleep here.
Yeah, they do what they got to do to make things work. They just found an old beat up house and I'm like, all right, let's do that.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah. So we had mentioned earlier about like when they were eating dinner. So at the time that they were filming that dinner scene, I don't know if it's true or not, but it says that the longest that they filmed was for 27 hours straight. And that was retakes and retakes. And it was during one of the hottest summers in like a very long time in Texas. They had to put blackout curtains in the windows because it was supposed to be nighttime.
Yeah.
And it was, which made it even hotter in the house, and they didn't have air conditioning back then, and it was like in that house, so it got to over 100 degrees regularly in that house, and all the like the bones and stuff, and there was like carcasses that were in the house started rotting, and the food on their plate was rotting as well. And like, so when I met the hitchhiker and he was explaining, he's like, see this plate? And like, you see my face? He's just like that. He's like, that's real. He's like, because it's just wafting up to my face and it's just rotting meat. So in between takes and stuff like that, they would run outside and vomit and then come back in and film again.
It's kind of, I mean, if I were, just to say, if I were playing the girl, that would make as an actor, that would make my job so much easier to have those conditions would actually make it.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
You'd be down with that, huh?
Oh, I'd be down with that.
But it would just make her seem more terrified in real life because it's
sweaty. Yeah. And it's sweaty, grossed out, everything. Yeah.
There was one thing I read too, because of the long
need makeup.
Yeah, because of the long shooting times and the heat and everything like that, people started like losing their shit. Yeah. And at one point, the hitchhiker tells Leatherface to just kill her, and in his mind during the filming of that, he really thought he was going to kill her. Like Leatherface, like Gunnar Hansen was just like, for like a few seconds, I was like, I'm going to kill her. Then he had to like, okay, wait a minute, we're in a movie, like, because he was just losing his shit. Like they were all just going crazy, basically.
No, what if Gunnar Hansen hadn't had the momentary?
He's a very smart man. So he was a very smart man. He passed of I want to say I think it was colon cancer. I actually the last time I met him was the day after I got this tattoo.
Oh my God.
It's a traditional style Leatherface.
You have it. Oh
and I showed it to him. I have a picture of him like pointing at it and whatever. And he died shortly after that, which really it hit me hard because he was such a nice guy. And he used to write like articles for magazines and stuff like that, like travel magazines, and he still acted. And it was weird. Like I had a bit of a connection because he lived in Ellsworth, Maine, and I was a regional auditor for TJX at the time. And one of my stores was in Ellsworth, Maine. And one of the managers of that store was his girlfriend. But the thing is that I never had to go to that store because it was run so well. So I'm like, oh yeah, it stinks. I'm your girlfriend's auditor. I just never got a chance to meet her because it's a store so good. And he's like, yeah, she's pretty great. And so then after that, every time he signed something for me, he's like, instead of saying I know where you live, he says I know where you work. Which I thought was awesome. I'm like, this is cool. Yeah, he was such a nice guy.
Did he think that was such a small world?
Oh, totally.
Story? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was very jealous because there's a lot of collectibles that are worth a good amount of money from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like there's a large like McFarlane Toys Leatherface. I have one, but he had them in boxes, and she used to, like, for TJX, they used to do a lot of charity stuff, and he would just donate all this stuff signed. I'm like, oh my God, I want to win it all. This is crazy. But whatever. It goes off to people that deserve it. They're the ones who donate to the charity, right?
Yeah.
But he was a very nice dude, and I legit got choked up when I found out he passed. I was on vacation, and I was actually reading his book, and I got a message from someone like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he forwarded me the thing, and I legit got choked up. I was like,
had he written an autobiography or
it was basically a story about the filming of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like from his side of it. And I didn't see anything about this online, but according to one of the stories in the book, at the farm that they were filming at, they actually were growing weed behind the farm. And at one point, the police had to show up for something, and they were just all trying to keep like one of the enclosed porches or whatever was just filled with weed. So they had to like keep the cops away from it. But I don't know. That's all just stories, I guess. But he was a good dude. I miss him. He was a nice guy. He's one of those guys that you look forward to seeing when you go to a con, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a big, tall, imposing.
Yeah. Well, he was older, so he wasn't as big as he was, you know, like, yeah. Plus, I think in the movie, I think it said that he was the boots he was wearing had like 3-inch heels, so it made him like 6'4".
So okay. So,
yeah, made him look bigger. But he was a tiny dude. But.
I was amazed how great the resemblance between the gas station guy and the hitchhiker. Just the family resemblance.
Yeah, they did well.
Yeah,
they really did. That kind of carries over into 2 because it's different actors that are playing. Actually, no.
So none of them carry
wanna
over
say-
the two?
I want to say I think the old man, like not the old man, but the older of the three. That's not
Yeah.
the grandfather. I think he's in two. It's blasphemous to say, but if I had to choose between watching one and then two, I'll just watch one twice. I like it. I like it, but it's not. It doesn't have the same vibe to me. It has more of like the big budget, like slasher to me. You know.
Why do you think two wouldn't bring the blonde girl back, Sally?
They bring there's other people that because it's supposed to take place like years later, and
Oh.
they bring someone else in, Caroline Williams, who's like kind of like the female, like the main female in the movie. She does cons and stuff too, and the family's pretty much torturing her. She's a radio DJ, and they're pretty much torturing her. And it's a fun movie, it really is, but it's just a different vibe altogether, in my opinion. They strayed a little bit too much for me to be like, this doesn't feel right. You could have just changed the name of it and like changed the faces of a couple of these actors, and it would be a different movie altogether. And I apologize to anyone who's listening that I have a lot of friends that hurt over any of them, but I'm just like, nah, it's one for me or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
I
when
take your opinion over most.
when she's in the back of the pickup truck and just the relief and the exhaustion. And then did you all feel that she kind of laughed with glee?
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to capture, just as an actor watching her, just to capture all of that emotion and everything that she was able to play as the actor through the character, I thought was unreal.
The photo I have signed by her is actually that photo of her in the back of the truck, and she's like kind of like, it's like kind of laughing.
Yeah.
Do you know if they filmed it in sequence?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I wonder if she's like, finally, it's the end of the movie. Haha, I made it.
It would make it easier. I always love when they film chronologically. It would make it easier for her as the actor if they did it chronologically, I would think, just because of that journey.
When I was a kid, I assumed that's how everything was filmed. But
Me too.
Then there's like a lot of stuff where like, even TV shows now, like I know with Danny DeVito on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like they only have him for X amount of days. So he comes and he films all of his parts for the whole season over those amount of days. And then they just film everything else around him. And then they just put it in, So that's interesting. It's weird to me, but I get it. But it just seems like you would get yourself out of the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I admire actors who can do things out of chronological order, because I think that's really hard to keep track of. At what point is my character? Where am I on the journey? Yeah, to be able to go back and forth.
Am I emotionally distraught right now, or am I absolutely elated because 20 minutes ago I killed somebody? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But can I go? Well, tell me when I get to go through my notes.
Marilyn Burns. I just remembered her name. It's Marilyn.
That's her name of Sally.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah. So start going through your stuff. I
did only because I wanted teachers. I wanted extra credit from you and Jar Jar.
We're giving gold stars all around tonight.
Yeah, gold stars. I did notice. Oh, and I'm not trying to think of Girl in Bathroom, but I did notice the purple of her tank top is the exact color of the purple in my Scream shirt.
Ooh.
Just pure coincidence.
Was it though? Was it? Because that's the thing, is there's a lot of movies that will pay homage to something, and you have to kind of be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, and it could. I mean, I know Rose and maybe it was. I know Rose McGowan. I mean, I only learned this recently because I still haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I know that will be one of my assignments from you all. But the really sexy top that Rose McGowan wears with the number 10, isn't that what Johnny Depp wears, that shirt with that number?
I mean, when he's watching Miss Nude America? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I don't know when. Because I haven't seen it. I don't know. But I know there were little callbacks. Okay. So let's see. Bright Oppressive Sunshine. Oh, yeah. The tongue thing, sense of dread, dry, arid. The generator sound was so creepy. And And that was just their generator, the three.
Right.
Yeah, they had
Okay,
like all
cannibals,
those, the generator going, the cars going, all to power their house, I
And
think.
that's
because
all
they're
stuff that
way
would
off
also
grid.
cover up any sounds.
The sounds, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it would cover
That's
up
what I
anything else, screaming and like the sound of a chainsaw. You know, it would cover that
Yeah.
all up.
The sunset.
Isn't it?
The
Isn't it?
sunset.
The sun is shit.
The sunset shot when one of the guys goes looking, the guy with the glasses. I thought that was really scary.
Mhm.
I wrote, what the fuck with the feathers when the other girl, which I loved her little sexy halter top and
Yeah.
short shorts, when she's lying in the feathers, is that just from chickens he's
Yep.
killed?
Yeah.
Oh, and I thought her reactions to all of that, acting wise, I thought she played that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I thought she was great. Yeah, she was the one who got hung up on the hook, right?
Yeah.
And then later
she
on,
stayed alive for so long on
she
that
kind of like
hook.
bounces out of like the cooler as well.
And when he throws her back, when he kind of folds her back up.
Yeah.
But she stayed alive longer than I thought one could stay alive on that big hook.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesus made it for like 3 days or something.
But there's a difference.
Did he though?
It's real. I'm just kidding.
Okay, then I wrote daylight scary, all marching to their doom. It felt like,
Mhm.
and I wrote excuse me, but I can't remember. It was one of the lines that I thought was funny, but someone says excuse me, and I wrote that down, but I can't remember when that line came. But it must have been towards the end, the excuse me, but
yeah.
It was funny enough that I wrote it down. Wait, was Grandpa, was someone human? I mean, was someone human in Grandpa's mask?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I know it was John Dugan, but
that's him.
It looked so hollow.
Right. No, that was him. He was just a really small dude.
And he was wearing that mask.
And actually, that's one of the other things I wanted to bring up too. I forgot all about it. So because of these like high temperatures and all this other stuff, he was absolutely miserable in that makeup.
Yeah.
And he said that it was more miserable than the time he spent in Vietnam.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That says something right there.
It does. And that's the thing, is I wanted to talk to him about that stuff, and then he just made fun of me right to my face. So I'm like, all right, toodles. I'll tell you guys about it afterwards. I don't want to. I mean, I already called him.
No worries.
I'm not gonna. I'll call. Don't want to call him out in full, but
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, you'll have to tell us.
Yeah, I will.
What was he wearing a mask? Was
Yes.
that a mask on Grandpa?
Yeah, it was just prosthetics and stuff. It's just very strange, like very, very pale, like he hasn't been out of the house, you know.
But did they have? Okay, these are some dumb questions. Was Grandpa choosing to wear that mask over his
I
face?
think that was supposed to be him.
Oh,
Yeah, just like really
A very, very old man.
lumpy
it
skin.
didn't look real.
Right. Yeah, it's not a great
It looked
mask.
like a mask.
Right.
I mean, it looked like Grandpa was wearing a mask.
Right. But it's supposed to be him.
It's supposed to be him.
From what I know, it's supposed to be him. And
Just
but yeah,
really
that's where you
emancipated.
see the budget come into play there, where it's
Or
just like, all right,
emaciated.
yeah.
And then
Said
Leatherface
emancipated.
is wearing the mask, the skin of his victim as his mask.
Yeah.
So I can't believe I never knew that that was Leatherface.
Oh, really?
Never knew that.
Actually, I think they maybe only call him Leatherface. You know what? I don't even know if they call him Leatherface at all in the movie. I know that they do in Texas Chainsaw 2. It's a different
Yeah,
actor.
they don't say anything in this movie about his
Yeah,
name.
it's a complete. That's the one thing that I thought stunk too, is that it's a completely different actor that they got to play Leatherface, and he did great in 2. But I'm just like, come on, Gunner's the man. Like, hook a brother up. I don't know.
Did they change it for every movie?
Most of them, yes. I don't know if anyone played it twice. Then there was one that came out a few years back that was a Netflix like original, and it was supposed to be like the reimagined.
Oh, I remember that.
current
Yeah.
times. And it was okay, but there was a lot of things a lot of kind of things that just like just because it's current time doesn't mean you have to have a self-driving car. Like, come on, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Why do you think that? So are we calling the two others, the gas station? Are we calling the cook and the hitchhiker brothers?
Yes, I
Sure.
believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Looking the older brother.
Now,
Yeah.
why do they not wear masks like Leatherface?
They're
They
not
just-
as crazy as he is.
And one's the face of the family, kind of. He works
Right.
store.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Got to bring in the money.
And
Everybody else was.
when she sees all of the meat that he's cooking in the gas station,
Mhm.
just her reactions to everything that she's experiencing, I just thought it just goes from bad to worse.
Yeah.
And worse for her.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it goes way farther into it a little bit in 2. But it's again different. I think just the cook is the only original actor. But so the hitchhiker, so Chop Top is who Bill Moseley plays, and he's basically the hitchhiker in that movie. But he's got a still plate in his head that he keeps like scratching with a coat hanger and like licking the stuff off. Like it's
ew, ew, ew.
You're welcome. But yeah, it's definitely a grosser movie, I think, the second one. But because it's not, it's you see it as opposed to implied. I think the implied like stuff is scarier to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm glad you liked it. That's
Franklin didn't want to share his flashlight because he didn't want her to leave him alone.
Yeah, because he's a dude in a wheelchair and they're going through the woods.
Yeah.
You know, I get it.
Yeah.
And he is totally dependent.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, Franklin, you're just
like when they sent him out to go to the bathroom in a can.
Yeah.
Like, what's that all
about?
I first thought he was, because my mind is in the gutter. I was like, are they sending him to masturbate into the can?
Completely different movie.
Because that's reminding me of.
We'll rub one out down there. We're saving it for Christmas.
My mind is in the gutter. It's so bad.
You know, you just say it out loud. We all think it. I'm constantly thinking horrible things when I'm watching stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm always waiting for the boobs. I'm always just
but
like,
that's the thing is that there was, you know, a lot of the females in this movie were very attractive.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
If they cut out the nudity so they could try to get a PG, I'm like, you got an X anyways. You got to throw some in there.
I know.
But I guess it really wasn't warranted, but it didn't need it.
I wanted her to be in this. Girls are probably going to, women in the audience, but I wanted her to be in sexier bottoms than the white pants. I wanted her to, I mean, I did think the color of the purple and white when she's running through the woods as it's getting darker, like those two colors popped, I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
And I wanted her to be in sexier bottoms. Because the other girl the other thing I liked with that halter top when Leatherface gets her, and since the halter top, her whole back is exposed, to me, it made her look like a piece of meat with the skin so exposed. But I thought her outfit was so sexy. And they're both so pretty, of course.
Yep. They were both lookers, I tell you.
They were both.
I tell you.
And I thought they were all really good.
Yeah.
I thought they all did a good.
I mean, a lot of it was a lot of people that were just like theater actors at colleges and stuff like that. Like
really?
A lot of the cast were just like local people that like auditioned. You know, they went to school out there or something. Yeah, it was which I thought was pretty great. I mean, that's the way to do it, right? If you're going to make a movie in your hometown and you know, just go to the local playhouse and be like, hey guys, you want to try out for a movie?
And you get the local. No, I love when they get the local actors.
Yeah, it costs $405 each. Apparently.
Alexander Payne, he doesn't do it. Alexander Payne in his movies, he doesn't do that for his lead roles, but for the smaller featured roles, he'll cast the locals to give it a local, authentic flavor. Which I always think.
And sometimes you know you may find someone who's gonna blow up from it. Like maybe there's someone like, wow, this person's really good. Then someone starts reaching out to them and offering them other jobs. Yeah, stuff like that. It's cool. So so the two of you, is there any particular moments in the movie that you feel stood out more than the others?
You go, Jar Jar, first.
Oh, thanks. No.
It's the floor is yours. I'll go after you.
I really did love when he's swinging around the chainsaw. Like, I think that's a classic, like, background. Just, it looked so good.
Yep.
The whole feel for the whole movie was like very gritty. I liked it. It was, I felt like it definitely plays well through time. And yeah, favorite, let's see, standout moments. Oof. Here I go with the
while you're thinking of that, when you mentioned him around
With the silence.
so there's a sticker that I've bought a bunch of them in the past, but I always run out of them because they're so great. And it's different stills of him from that scene where he's swinging the chainsaw around.
Yeah.
And they're all in different colors, and it just says disco underneath it. And it's on my laptop right here, so I wanted to show you.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, scary.
Isn't that great?
Yes, but it's scary.
No, it's not. It's great. Come on, Dar.
I just wanted his chainsaw to run out of power. I was like,
Yeah.
goddamn chainsaw, just stop already. Stop working.
Right?
I
That
just,
would have been funny.
and I wanted him to just
Right
pass
as he caught up to her.
It should have been a commercial. It should have been a commercial for that chainsaw because that thing was like
It
nonstop.
just ran and ran. And then I wanted him to just fall down or have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Did
And then,
you think, I thought for sure she was going to be dead meat. I
Well,
really
the first
did.
time I saw it, so that's the thing too, is I was younger when I saw it, but it wasn't like the first horror movie I saw or anything. There was a movie called Summer School that was out in like the 80s. And have you seen it?
That's a fantastic movie.
Right.
The two kids.
There's two guys
Yeah.
in the classroom that are like stoner, just horror dudes. And the main teacher guy is just like, if you guys pass your tests, we can watch a movie in the classroom. And so they pass their test and they show Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the classroom. And they show that scene, and I was like, I need to see this movie. That's what made me search out Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was that movie. Then they even do a little homage to it later on, where he's got the chainsaw and he's shaking it up in the air and stuff like that. Yeah, that's that movie's fun. Summer School. Anyway,
School.
It was really good. I wore out one of those VHS tapes. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. But anyways, have you thought of one, Charger?
Oh, because you were talking to me. My ADD is insane. So like, I'm just, focusing on what Franklin's saying.
Yeah. What he was saying was.
I didn't.
Well, definitely all the kills are really, really rememberable. As you're saying, like, as I'm going through them in my head, like, not one where you like splattered with blood or even with the chainsaw. Like, I thought there had to be more with the chainsaw of people getting killed, but you're saying it's only Franklin.
Yeah, I believe it's just one kill with the chainsaw, and then he chases.
How do you call it a chainsaw massacre with only one massacre?
Hey, you know what?
I loved all the blood on her at the end and the pickup.
Yeah.
Just how she got bloodier and the hair matted down.
Yeah.
That poor dude picking her up. Like,
Oh, he must be like, I thought for sure he would bypass them.
Oh, yeah. I've been like, hold on. No, keep driving.
I did have a feeling as she kept staying alive and surviving, then I started to really count on that they would let her live.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be she's the final
girl.
Yeah,
final
she's
girl.
the one who survives. Yeah, and it's great. It's a great part of that legend of the final girl. You know, it's an earlier movie. It's a slasher, low budget, really gritty, infamous for being one of the most violent movies that there's almost no violence in. It's crazy. It's all implied violence, and it's insane to me that how many countries banned it. You know, it's crazy.
How many total?
I don't know exactly, but I know in Finland it was banned for 25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Way.
Finland too. Like, you would think like Finland would be a little more
I think it was one of there's a thing they had over in the UK called the video nasties, And it was like all these banned movies. And I think it was a Video Nasty in the UK as well, or it was banned.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Had each country screened it once and decided no, or did they just bandwagon it? Like,
I think it may have been like, the way it was explained for some of them. Maybe they maybe did one screening, like maybe their version of like, the rating system and stuff like that over there. But yeah, it's crazy. Like literally they tried to make it as not graphic as possible. And to try to get a PG, which is weird to get a PG rating on a horror movie. That would be like a kid's movie to me. The PG-13 I can understand more, but yeah, then X.
Yeah, and X, especially no boobs at all.
And it really does a disservice.
Ooh.
Back in the day, it really does a disservice because you're not going to see an X-rated movie at a regular movie theater. You have to.
Oh no, absolutely not.
A little like the porn theaters, basically, to see the movie.
Oh really? Right, because you couldn't go to the regular.
Yeah, they wouldn't show X movies. Yeah, it would be like in Times Square. They had like all those like those movie houses that played like all the like exploitation movies and stuff like that.
So that's where you had to go.
Yeah.
To see it.
Yeah, to see that kind of movie. Yeah.
To see specifically Texas Chainsaw.
Oh yeah. Oh, X-rated movies. I want to say I don't know if there's really ever been a movie that was rated X that would play at a regular theater. I mean, I know Showgirls was probably unrated.
Yeah, that was NC-17.
Okay.
I was in an NC-17 movie called Storytelling with Selma Blair, John Goodman.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really?
Paul Giamatti, Julie Haggerty. I have a name in that one. I'm just as nerdy. I play Joyce in 2 scenes. It's a creative writing college classroom scene, and we're dumping on Selma Blair's character. I have less lines than in Scream, but I have more camera coverage. But that Todd Solondz, the writer director of that film, who did previous to that Welcome to the Dollhouse, which is an amazing movie.
I love that movie.
And then if you love that movie, his second one was Happiness with Philip Seymour Hoffman, Dylan Baker, an amazing cast. And then Storytelling was his third one.
I haven't seen that. I'm going to track it down.
Yeah. He was trying to get an R rating, and the stupid rating system. There's a very graphic scene, which
we get to see Nars boobs.
There is nudity there is nudity, full frontal nudity in it. Not
is it from me? Is it John Goodman?
Oh, is it John Goodman?
He was so mad, Todd Solondz. If you read about it, they wouldn't let the scene play, so he did something. He put a bright red box over what the rating system or the producers wouldn't let him, not the producers, but what the rating system, since they were already giving him NC-17, you see the scene, it's a rape scene, but he wanted you to see the rape as it was happening. Oh God, but as a fuck you to the rating system, he put this bright red box on the private parts as the guy is raping the girl. If you read about, but I can't, that movie came out in 2000. Oh God, 2002. At the time I knew better.
Was that late 90s or early 2000s? Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Late 90s.
Late 90s, yeah.
I have that movie on DVD. I like that movie a lot. I saw that in the theater.
Yeah. But yeah, the red box was for the writer, Todd Solondz, did it for, I know I already said, as an FU, but so you see the scene, but it's this jarring red box. And if you read about, I can't remember because it was so long ago, but it was clever how he kind of got back at the.
It would have been even more clever if the actor in question was a ginger.
Oh, that would be. Look at my big red box.
Yeah. Look at my big red box.
So Jar Jar, you had mentioned like the whole spinning chainsaw thing. And you said kind of almost the same scene, really, Nar, with Sally in the truck.
I mean, yeah. That penultimate. I mean, I thought all of her journey and just all
Her
of her
screaming at the
reactions.
end, is very visceral. It's
very
just
visceral. And in the pick, if I had to pick, in the pickup truck, the total relief, still fear because she doesn't know, well, what next can
exactly.
happen to
She's
me?
not exactly out of the whole thing.
Right. And
I
then
love that when the big rig stops and then he sees Leatherface and the guy just gets out of the truck and starts running like,
What's
"Have
this?"
the truck, just drive away. Like, what? I'm gonna run. Yeah, just
I'm gonna run.
realize you were in a
I love
machine. Yeah, okay.
Say again.
Like the guy's in a truck, he gets out of the truck to run away.
I know.
It's so weird.
And does he grab the wrench?
Something like that. Yeah.
Because it zooms in. But the fact I loved that he stopped to pick her up. I thought that was very.
Then it just backfired horribly for him.
Yeah.
And then the pickup truck. Yeah, that was
But so, just her with the wash rag in her mouth, just all of that, just her taking in the kitchen scene, just what the fuck, who are these people, these cannibals, just her responding to every little moment.
Yeah.
And then the sucking of grandpa sucking her. And was her finger, it was bloody at that point. And
they had cut it with the knife, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a weird old
My big question is, like with Silence of the Lambs, I understand why, of course, and I loved the film. And I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But the diehard horror fans, because I guess that's why, I know that's why I never could watch horror, but now I will, because you guys are making me.
Sorry.
I'm look at your, no, because I want you to make me.
Yeah.
I want you to make me. But how do people, like I see little kids at the conventions and their parents start them young on horror, and which I think is amazing. And actually,
I have a young one that's into it as well. She's very picky though in the horror she likes.
Really?
Yeah, like she enjoyed Scream, enjoyed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She was all about.
Really?
She left me on Evil Dead.
Really?
It's a weird. Abandoned you.
It is weird. Like I love the movie a lot, but it's got some strange moments for sure. So that's when we do that one, I'm curious.
You all are you assigned me to Evil Dead 2.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, just to make sure.
Yep.
But why? So I get it. I get the genre. And Wes Craven, I need to find the quote. Like he has a great quote of why he liked directing horror films. And it's I wish I had the quote. And it was a quote I identified with, and then I understood why horror films were loved and made, and why Wes Craven, I think, made, even though I haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street, the only Wes Craven movies I've seen are Scream and then Vampire in Brooklyn, because my friend was the second female lead.
Oh, really?
So I went to the premiere of that. But the quote is really good, and I can't. I have so many things at homework I have to do, but I'm writing that.
You can bring it up on the next episode. Remember that quote I was talking about?
Yeah.
It was this.
So I'm writing it down. But why is it? Because we're all so close. I mean, this is kind of, I know what Wes Craven said, that any one of us could be killed or die at any moment. Like one of us could drop dead now. Is the genre so loved because they see characters at such a near death or dying experience that it pushes the emotions of the audience member to such a zenith that.
Yeah, I personally myself.
So yeah, tell me.
It's I can watch movies that'll make me laugh. I can watch movies that'll get me choked up. But that's for a split second. If a movie is generally scary, I'll be scared a majority of the time, and it's a movie that could do that, like a movie that can make you that uncomfortable for that long. It's something different. And like as a kid, when you're a kid, you like being scared, right? It's fun. It's a fun thing. I mean, I don't know. I like it.
I was always waiting for the parents to go out so I could sneak watching
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that.
Yep.
When the girl,
And then be completely freaked out the rest
then
of the
not
time
being
they
able
were
to
out.
sleep.
Yeah.
Being like totally thinking there's something under my bed.
Yep.
Totally thinking that someone's hiding. in the closet.
Arachnophobia was a good one for that.
Yeah, that's
Screwed
another John
myself up.
Goodman jam, right? John Goodman, arachnophobia. Oh, know what other
Oh
one?
yeah, full frontal.
is it?
Ooh. Yeah.
No.
I remember when the girls, all my little girl elementary school summer parties, when anyone would bring out the Ouija board, I legit couldn't look at it because I thought if I looked at it, something bad would happen to me. So
No
literally, yeah, every party they would be pull it out, and I didn't play with it while they played, and couldn't look at it because I thought something bad would happen.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though, is it's like, there's all these like legends and all these other like, whatever, like who knows what's real, especially when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You're like, it's got to be real.
I think the Parker Brothers game was kind of safe.
Well,
the which one?
The Parker Brothers game.
Well, but that's the thing, is a Ouija board.
Oh, is Parker Brothers who makes the Ouija board? I had no idea who made it. No, I was terrified.
Well, that's the thing is.
They had original ones before.
Yeah, the whole
Parker
mythos
Brothers took over. Oh yeah,
years and years. Yeah, they just but yeah, I mean, there's still like I love paranormal stuff. Like the stuff I want to believe, and there's people that still to this day like that are part of that whole community, and they're like, don't go anywhere near it, don't even bother, like just get it out of your house,
don't get the horror stuff out
even
of
if even if it's one from Parker Brothers, it's like still you're inviting something in. That's what you're doing. Don't do it. So I mean, I've never messed with one. I've seen them. I've never messed with one.
Even the way the wood looks. I mean, because I caught a glimpse as a little girl, and I was like, no, the way the wood looked, I just was like, I can't.
Sounds like they had a nice one if it was wood.
Yeah.
Or are they not wood?
Oh, it's
the
like,
Parker Brothers
regular,
one is plastic.
Or it's plastic, or it's like cardboard covered in like a glossy like.
Oh no, I'm talking about the eye thing.
Whichever it's called.
Little triangle thing.
I forget what it's called. Is that a plant?
Yeah, what is
like
yes.
Something like that.
But yeah,
always
sounds like you had a good one.
For real.
Might have even been cursed, Nancy.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't. And I didn't. It was my little girlfriends, like they were all not scared. I was such a tomboy growing up, but as far as scary movies, I was little. Yeah, just very frightened because I thought that stuff could happen for real.
Before we wrap up, Nancy, I've been meaning to ask.
Yeah.
What have you been doing? Where have you been?
Perfect timing. You've turned into a robot.
No.
All right, you're clear now. You turned into a robot for a second.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh no. I was supposed to do my homework so as well. This is name dropping. Well, no. So well, I'll just name drop it. So Tony Moran and I have been boyfriend girlfriends since September. So I've been we're long distance right now, but I'd been going back and forth to his place, and I was going to watch, because he has this new big fancy big screen TV, and we were going to watch Evil Dead 2, my assignment, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I didn't, and he's been very supportive because I did watch The Shining with him. So I'm wishing when I watched it today, I was like, oh, I wish I could have watched it with Tony. Also because I think as I was watching the two guys in the van, he would have played those two characters, I thought, really well, because he kind of that. When he was 21 and did Halloween in 78, he just kind of reminded me of
kind of that attitude.
Yeah. And I thought those two guys were kind of not macho like Tony is. They were very soft and
Nice boys.
soft-spoken. Yeah, soft-spoken and
Easy to kill.
Um,
Say it. Easy to
Yeah,
kill.
easy to kill.
easy to kill. But that 70s look, and Tony had done, a lot of his acting all around that time period. But no, it would have been fun to he and I were binge watching because I'd never seen Ozark, so we were binge watching Ozark, and he's seen so many movies, and he'd seen Texas Chainsaw, and I think he's seen Evil Dead too.
I'm sure he has.
Yeah. So I didn't want, but now I'm wishing. So now when I have my assignments, he was very supportive for me to watch them with me. But no, I thought it would, as I was watching it today, I thought, he would have been so good in the movie.
It would have been one of those things too, where if he's watching it, like if like we were in the same room, we were watching, I would just been looking at you, just trying to wait for you to react to things. I'm like, huh? You like it? You like it? Like,
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I was, terrified. But
Yeah.
it would have been fun to watch with him. So yes. So I've been, okay, since we saw each other last, had I done the convention in Reno?
I don't know. I thought you had something coming up the last time we talked to you.
I can't remember if I had, because
I
I was trying to think. Say again.
I know you did a little vacation. I don't remember if we talked about Reno.
Reno. Well, I guess that'll be off camera.
Okay.
But it was fun to go to Reno. The fans were really great in Reno, and I had a great time. Always the most meaningful is with the fans, and actually the two guys who did a panel discussion, and we had a big audience at the panel discussion, and so that was fun. It was a one day show, and then after that, where are we? Today is August 7th, and then after that, I was going back and forth to Tony's, and then I was just in Vermont with my folks. We usually
nice
go
time
there
to be up there.
Yeah.
No, it was, and the weather was actually,
it's nice
like
and cool.
70 degrees. Yeah, really cool, nice and cool, which was usually at that time. It's at least
August. We're
high
usually
80s.
ridiculously humid.
Yeah. I did a fun interview while I was, I'm very rigid and not good with change, but I forced myself I had to do an interview up there. My mom took her laptop, and this sounds so silly, but I was proud of because I've always just done the interviews here, but I was able to be flexible enough and do this interview that I had to do about the movie I did called The Only Ones. They had me on, and the guy played my husband, and then the writer director on this show, and that was a fun interview. And so I just got back with my parents on Saturday, and they always let me tag along. We've been going, and then I'll get off this topic. When the Von Trapp family from The Sound of Music.
Yep.
So when they escaped Austria to the United States, they first were touring. The way they were making money was as the Trapp family singers all around the United States. And then they found this farmland on the top of a mountain in Stowe, Vermont. And the original 7 children of the Baron, and then Maria had 3 of her own children with the Baron. They literally built the farmhouse, the girls in long skirts, the daughters on ladders, building everything that they needed up on top of this mountain. And then the family, as a way to generate more money, started a music camp. But anyways, this top of the mountain reminded Maria von Trapp of her homeland in Salzburg. And so they made their home there. And her youngest son, Johannes, who's now 84, was running the place for since the early 80s. He just retired, and now his son and daughter and the daughter's husband are running it. So it's still very much family
Wow.
run. So it's just it's not touristy in the way you might think of the Sound of Music family. It's a really beautiful place called Trap Family Lodge, and they just started brewing a few years ago their own beer lagers, and they use the Von Trapp lager, but they have a brewery and beer hall, and that's kind of newer. But yeah, it's a lot of history if people ever wanted to Google it. Trap Family
The
Lodge.
thing is, like, we're way closer to Vermont than you are, and I've never even heard of this. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. There's so much stuff.
And she didn't invite us either.
Well, I don't blame
I
her.
didn't.
I wouldn't have invited us either.
Yeah.
We're kind of a lame.
Tony was invited, but he couldn't come. But yes, he was.
I'm not frazzing on Tony, but it would have been great to just see him like with his arms spread. The hills are alive.
He laughed.
Sound of music.
I asked him because
The sound of chainsaws.
he hasn't even seen the whole film, and I was like, Tony, you have to watch it with me. And he goes, I think that is the funniest thing anyone's ever asked me to watch. The Sound of Music.
Tony, will you watch The Sound of Music with me?
You're gonna watch it, and you're gonna watch it now, and you're gonna like it.
Please.
So yeah, so that was that, and then the next, I just have a lot of promotional Facebook and Instagram work because the next convention is PA HorrorCon in Pennsylvania, September. I always have to look at the date, September 16th and 17th. So I just have to, I try to promote as much as I can on Facebook and Instagram. I need to do a little video clip for that one. And then I think there's still one I'm doing just on September 23rd called Main Street Comic-Con. And then one October, I know I already said this last time, October 27th. Oh,
no, you got to always promote it.
Okay.
Well, not everyone listens to that, so it's like.
Yeah, and they might listen to them out of order.
Okay. And then a new one called Atomic Monster Weekend, which is October 27th through the 29th. And that's in Mesa, Arizona. And Tony's doing that. Dee Wallace, Michael Berryman. It's got a great lineup of actors, and the promoter who's running it is a really great guy. So just making sure I try to promote as I go. So focus on the first one coming up, and then, I put my schedule up, but then and then after that one, I have Akron Comic-Con, which is November. Let me see. Bear with me.
Please hold.
Please hold.
You're busy in the fall.
Yeah. Well,
Wait,
that's the time for HorrorCons. That's the time.
That's the time. And then November 3rd through the 5th, Akron Comic-Con, and they're gonna Gigi Edgley and I are in Girl 2, and the cheerleader from Scream, and so they're gonna kind of try to the writer director. It's not, he runs his own conventions, Travis Bowen. This is run by Dan Gorman, who's actually hilarious in the movie Girl 2. So they're going to do a promotional thing for Girl 2.
You said Dan Gorman?
Dan Gorman, Gorman.
The name sounds familiar to me.
Really nice, great guy. And I met him doing the film. He plays the film's set in a mental institution, and he plays a bumbling security guard, and he's so good in it. And so that was how he asked me, Gigi, and the cheerleader from Scream to do the film. So that will be really fun. And then Cult Classic, the reason I chose Texas Chainsaw to watch first before Evil Dead was the Cult Classic convention I'll be doing March 1st to March 3rd. And Roy Rose and his wife run called Classic, and then I believe they own the gas station from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and
Oh,
they
I've heard about that.
and they run. They'll usually host, if I understand correctly, like one actor. Like they
Yep.
recently had Daniel Harris, and that one's called The Gas Station as that event, and then Cult Classic is their other one where they have a lineup of actors in Bastrop, Texas. So that was why I chose to watch Texas Chainsaw
Nice.
first, just to see the
I would have chosen it just because it's my favorite. But I've always wanted to meet Danielle Harris. I've never been at a con that she's been at. So
I haven't met her face to face. I did Carolina Fear Fest with her the end of May 2022, but we didn't meet at that. I was in a totally different spot from her, so I didn't meet her. And then Tony did Frightmare on the Falls in Niagara Falls with her, and her table was kind of near him. But I don't go running around saying, "Hi, I'm Nancy Ann." So she was at that one, and repped by the same agent for that one as Tony. But so she was right there. But so I haven't met her.
It's weird because it's like,
her,
like she was on Roseanne like way back in the day when she was a kid, and then she was on an episode of The Conners where she came back like
really?
Years ago. And I was all excited. I'm like, oh my god, she's going to be on The Conners. This is great because I still watch. Me and my wife watch The Conners, but I was just all excited. I'm like, it's always good to see, like, they're in movies and you see them in movies that are in theaters and stuff like that. But it's like, but they're on the little screen too. This is just more access for people to have no idea that she's like a horror icon as well, you know?
Well, and I remember, I'm so excited to watch all of her films. I remember seeing The Last Boy Scout, and I loved that movie so much. So I know she plays Bruce Willis's daughter, so I need to go back and watch that. And but I want to see. I know she's supposed to be a great actor, so I'd love to watch all of her.
Yeah. Plus, she's got like an adorable family, stuff like that. If you follow her on social media, she's got, she seems like a very good mom and all these other things. So it's like, I always feel weird. Like, I met like one of the times I was talking to Felissa, I'm like, so how's the kids? And she's like, what did you just ask me? I'm like, how's your kids? I saw it all over Instagram. She's like, oh yeah, they're doing fine. It was just a weird thing. Like I'm like, I'm not stalking you at all. I follow you on Instagram and you post things about your family. So it's like, one of those things. Yeah. But
did she, in The Conners, did she play, was it a continuation of her character from Roseanne? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Brought her back years and years later. But yeah, I don't know. We should probably wrap this one up, right?
Oh yeah, we're getting at the 1 hour and a half.
Yep, just about there. So, long story short, we got the thumbs up from Nancy Ann Ritter.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
2 Nars up.
Did you say 2 Nars? Oh gosh, yeah, 2 Nars up. Terrifying. I mean, thank you so much, because I would have never. I know. Thank you so much to you guys for making this YouTube show.
Just wait to watch Evil Dead 2. You're gonna be like, "What the hell did you just make?"
Oh yeah, you're not gonna be thanking him next time.
I know.
It's a good movie.
It is.
It's just it's crazy. It
is really crazy. Yeah.
Is it terrifying?
No.
No, I wouldn't say terrifying. I would say it's
out there. It's kind of like a mind trip from time to time.
It's got some weird stuff.
Hallucinating and I don't want to ruin anything for you.
Okay. You're gonna love it.
Are we gonna? I'm gonna love it. Oh, I'm sure, George. No, I am, because this is a major hole in my movie going. Is all of this?
Oh no, this will be perfect for you because, like you said, you're going to the Texas Chainsaw place, the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, with people there, you can just be like, "I've seen that movie." Blah,
I've
blah,
seen
blah.
that. Oh yeah.
Break up the conversation with the people. Be like,
"Oh, okay, where's the weird guy that'll wash my windshield?"
Yeah.
And walk back and then come back and then come back and then come.
I would love if I could play a little. Like I love. I mean, in theater, I've played had way more work before the movies and played big parts. Well, I have played big parts in small little independent films. But if I could get to play the little car wash guy, that would be it. Just a little character. Like, I just love Rant. It's fun to play the big parts, but fun to play. It would be so fun.
Pushing that bucket, having a head like Elmer Fudd, walking back and forth.
I did identify. I was thinking, what part in Texas Chainsaw could I access the easiest, like in the easiest way? And it was the hitchhiker that I thought I would have the easiest.
Actually, if I had to
pick Road 2,
you know, I'm a big Leatherface guy. I think it would be pretty fun to play the hitchhiker as well.
Yeah. I could relate I could just, that would be so fun.
An annoying Franklin.
Yeah.
Just sit there and annoy the fuck out of everybody.
I would love to play the purple girl, of course, at the end. But Franklin, I thought would be, not Franklin, the hitchhiker. I thought I would have an easier time playing the hitchhiker just because I'm cuckoo.
You have to go there. Yeah. You have to really look at people and be like inside their head.
Yeah. I will say, since Jar Jar, you're very nice, and Kevin, about the promotion. So I will say, so the Woodman, films I have, the only ones.
5 of them coming up. You have
yes.
Girl 2, which comes out in November, I believe.
And I'm hoping that's when all of these, I really need to find out what the release dates, but I'm hoping November, yes.
The Only Ones.
Yes.
The Woodman.
The Woodmen, because there's
more than one.
Oh, it is men.
I have no idea.
Little Red Rosie.
Little Red Rosie, which is still currently being shot, so that will be 2024.
And One of One.
Which already had some screenings at the Alamo Draft House here in Virginia.
How's that going?
Well, it was I shouldn't oversell it. It was they had their premiere in the Alamo Draft House as a screening, but they didn't have a run of it in the Alamo Draft House.
That's pretty awesome.
But it was very fun. And I don't know, with that film, I don't know where else. I know they'll put it into film festivals, so I don't know where else it'll pop up.
Yeah.
But the Woodman's already they sent me the completed scene, which I need
should be doing screenings of your movies with these movies. Be like, well, we watched Evil Dead 2 and we also watched Girl 2.
Oh, right. But yeah, so I'm the scene that they completed, editing the scene that I did in the Woodman, I want to throw up on to Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, I want to throw up.
I want to throw up. No, but I'm excited for The Only Ones, the Woodman, and oh gosh, Girl 2. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And I gotta have you come on my regular show. I'm thinking before we start to push these out, maybe come on and we'll talk about that. Talk about some new stuff that you got coming out.
Okay,
we'll figure that out. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Wicked Horror Show.
Wicked Horror Show, dude. Yeah.
Wicked.
So where can people follow you? Like, as far as social media, where's the best place to follow you?
Okay, so still just Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook is just my name, Nancy Ann Ritter, with double D's. And then, do you see my jugs? I wish I could look at Jar Jar. Not that I'm a centerfold, by any means.
More so than I am, I can tell you that.
And then Instagram, and then Instagram is my name at Nancy Ann Ritter. I don't even know what threads are. TikTok, so just Instagram.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Nancy. I've got Facebook. If you don't follow me on Facebook, I'm sorry.
To be honest with you, I don't do much with any of it. It's mostly just show promotion stuff. Every once in a while, I'll just go and send people some videos I find. So Jar Jar, what about yourself? Where can people?
Facebook, Jar Jar. I'm Jeremy Courtney on Facebook, and
you're part of some other shows too, right?
Oh, I am. I have the Splash Pages, which is on Tuesday nights from for Facebook and YouTube. You can watch it live.
Is it
8
just
o'clock.
splash pages on both YouTube,
Splash pages.
or
Yep.
is it's not on the Dorkening specifically, or is it just?
Oh, we put it out through the Dorkening and everything. So yeah.
All right, so the Dorkening on Facebook and the Dorkening on.
Yeah. Kevin, why don't you just tell them where to find
don't
me?
know.
Podcast.
Sure.
I don't know where to
Jar Jar,
find me at all.
Do you do your show with Leo?
I do, yeah.
And that I can say, everybody, the Dorkening podcast is a great podcast network.
Yes, I started it with my cousin Leo.
You started it?
Yeah, we started it together on the way back from Buffalo.
Yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah.
No way. And then do you all host? So that I get it all together. Then does the Dorkening podcast host Jeff Homan and Benjamin Bartlett with their show?
The Toking, Toking with the Dead.
Yep. Toking with, yeah.
Yep.
Are you going to be on there anytime soon?
I did a very fun interview with them December 30th, 2021. But I said some all the risque stuff I liked. I said one thing that I'm worried that I thought was funny, and Jeff, Leo, and Ben thought was funny, but I don't. That I'm afraid I'll be reamed for if I post it on Facebook and Instagram. But I want
to lighten up.
It's all jokes, folks.
So I wanted to post it for a long time, but I was so afraid of this one thing that I said about visiting Harvey Weinstein in jail.
Oh.
Well, there you go.
There, Nar. Yeah. So how about you, Kevin? Where can we follow you?
Not subject or anything, but just
wait. What did Kevin say?
What?
Wait, what'd you just say?
I said not to change the subject or anything. And he's like, so Kevin, where can you? Yeah. A Knuckle on Instagram. It's my full name, which I'm not going to say because I hate it, on Facebook. Wicked Horror Show on YouTube and Facebook as well. The live show Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with an open chat room and so on and so forth. I'm also, besides being part of this show, which is also on the Dorkening Podcast Network, I'm also part of That Strange Show with Angel and Ryan and Mandy, and part of Black and White Fright, which is just about classic horror movies. And I'm going to be a guest on a couple shows coming up soon. It's fun when you get asked to do other shows. It's fun. So I'll be doing that coming up, and I'll talk about that more on the Wicked Horror Show when I know exact dates and stuff. And that's that for this one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in the books. I'm glad you liked it. And
Evil Dead 2 next.
Word. All right. Bye, everyone.